You probably know the name Bobby Fuller. You've probably jammed out to I Fought the Law while cruising down the interstate on a sunny summer day. But you probably don't know how the American singing legend died. Welcome to the Crafty Cryptid, a channel dedicated to spooky storytelling and DIY crafting. If this kind of thing interests you, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell so YouTube won't hide my weekly updates from you. Today's subject has been the focus of controversy since it occurred in 1966, and to this day, people still do not know what truly happened and who is truly to blame. Those of you who recognize the name Bobby Fuller know him as an American pop artist that rose to prominence well before the British invasion. But you might not know that Fuller was much more than the voice behind Let Her Dance and Never to Be Forgotten. Fuller was a hometown hero in El Paso long before he hit the national charts. In 1961, aged 19, he built his own studio in the den of his parents' 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, recording initially on a Viking reel-to-reel tape deck before gradually acquiring more and better equipment. Fuller started 2 labels, Eastwood and Exeter, to release his music, and in 1964, he opened his own teen club in El Paso called The Rendezvous. His group, then known as the Fanatics, were the house band. England has the Beatles, but El Paso has Bobby, read the El Paso Herald-Post in 1964. Fuller's band was so locally popular that an appearance at a local shopping center drew, quote, 6,000 screaming and cheering boys and girls, unquote, according to the same paper. Eventually, the band's popularity outgrew Texas, and the boys moved to California, where they met Bob Keane, owner of Delphi Records. This is where everything changed for the newly named Bobby Fuller 4. I Fought the Law hit the top of the charts in 1966 and quickly turned Fuller and his band into teenage heartthrobs the nation over. However, this success would be short-lived. Bob Keane had a vision that did not sit well with the rest of the band. He and Bobby fought often, and Keane's terrible marketing strategies took the success of the Fuller 4 and tanked it. The rocky relationship between manager and singer would ultimately prove to be a key factor in what would happen next. In the early morning hours of July 18, 1966, Bobby Fuller reportedly received a mysterious phone call and left his apartment at 3 a.m. He took his mother's Oldsmobile and left the parking lot. As the night became morning, Bobby failed to show up to rehearsal with his bandmates. Hours passed, and Lorraine, Fuller's mother, grew worried about her son's absence. 14 hours after Bobby had left the apartment, 2 witnesses who had come to visit Fuller claimed that when they were driving up, Bobby's mother's car was not in the parking lot. This was confirmed by Lorraine, who had been watching diligently for her son's return. Less than 15 minutes after the arrival of Fuller's friends, Lorraine left the apartment to get the mail and was shocked to find her vehicle sitting in the parking lot. This was a sight that no mother ever wants to see. Lorraine found her son unresponsive in the driver's seat of the vehicle, spread out across the bench with a gas canister tucked under the steering wheel. A hose from the canister led up to Bobby's face. Lorraine phoned the police immediately, but when the cops arrived, they only took a cursory glance of the scene before ruling that it was self-unaliving from gasoline consumption. No one knows why the police refused to interview any of the witnesses, or why they didn't dust the car for prints or check for bloodstains. It was only through the autopsy that the coroner was able to reveal that there was no gasoline in Fuller's stomach. He had not drank any of it. Further, the coroner assumed that, instead, Bobby died from inhalation of gasoline fumes, which changed the ruling from self-unaliving to an accident. A ruling that none of the band members nor Bobby's mother agreed with. Multiple witnesses had noted that Bobby appeared to have been beaten up, and even had his bones broken. They said that there was blood on his clothing and his skin, and someone even reported that it looked as though Bobby had been dragged on the ground. The coroner, however, disagreed and claimed that he found no evidence of a beating. Bobby's body had been found in a full state of rigor mortis. Considering that the car hadn't been in the lot for more than 15 minutes when Lorraine found it, this meant it was impossible for Bobby to have driven there on his own. He had been dead for far too long. Someone else had had to drive him, and given the sheer amount of gasoline present in the car, and the fact that a half-burned book of matches was seen lying in the back seat by another witness, it seems obvious that someone had attempted to light the car on fire, but was spooked when they realized there was activity in Bobby's apartment. It also suggests that the person who attempted to light the car was nearby when the police arrived. Interesting, then, that Bob Keane would magically show up minutes after Lorraine called the police. Bob Keane, who had just been in several disagreements with Bobby Fuller about an upcoming deal the singer had not wanted to make. Bob Keane, who had Bobby's signature on the contract with Delphi Records, including what would happen to his music after he died, only if he died by accident, not self-unaliving. Bob Keane, who had already been under suspicion because Fuller was the third artist under his charge to die in disputed circumstances. After the investigation into Fuller's death, it is also said that the rest of his band members feared for their own lives, and on at least one occasion found thug-like men waiting for them outside of their studio. If Bobby Fuller had lived beyond this horrible circumstance, there is no doubt he would have changed the face of pop music as we know it. Truly an American icon, he had quickly achieved the kind of fame in his communities and nationwide that the likes of the Beatles were used to. It's a shame that his life ended so abruptly and so suddenly. But for Bob Keane, Fuller's gift keeps on giving. Artists skyrocket in fame after they have died, particularly if they died young, and Keane has cashed in on Fuller's legacy since 1966. Do you think Bob Keane is responsible for Bobby Fuller's death? Do you think it was truly an accident or even a self-unaliving? Leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. To be notified when I post next, ring the notification bell. If there are any strange, spooky, or mysterious topics you'd like to see featured in a future video, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and come back soon, cryptids.